everyone, the topic that we are going to discuss today is human resource planning. So, human resource planning is one of the functions of HR manager in which they prepare or they decide in advance what kind and what number of people will be required in the organization to achieve its objectives. Let's start with the definition of human resource planning by E.W. Vetter. So, according to him, human resource planning is a process by which an organization should move from current manpower position to its desired manpower position. So here we are talking about whatever is your current manpower position, you should, through human resource planning, you should move to your desired manpower position. Now, desired manpower position means what? Desired manpower position means that the manpower which is perfect for your organization, the perfect kind of people and the perfect number of people that are required to achieve the organizational objective. Through planning, management strives to have the right number and right kind of people, as I have told you, at the right place at the right time. So, right number of people, right kind of people, that means they should be skilled and they should be appropriate for the job that they are given. They should be capable enough to perform the job. Right place, that means whatever job is given to them, that job should fit the profile of the person that we have put on that job. And at the right time, that means whenever the person is required at the job, the person should be there, because if the right time is not there, so suppose the person is required at the job 2 weeks after, but the person is recruited now, that means these 2 weeks will be wasteful. The salary given to the employee for these 2 weeks will be waste for the organization, will cost to the organization. Okay, so at the right time is also important here. Doing things which result in both organization and individual receiving maximum long run benefit. The employees should be right number, right kind, at the right place and at the right time, so that they can maximize the benefit for the organization and for themselves. So this is human resource planning, when you move from your current manpower position to your desired manpower position, so that you can achieve your organizational objectives smoothly and there is no problems in the process of achieving your organizational objectives due to either surplus of manpower or lack of manpower in your organization. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to discuss are the objectives of human resource planning. The first objective of human resource planning is forecast personnel needs and requirements. So yes, as we have discussed, now the HR managers will forecast. That means they will anticipate, they will decide in advance, they will see how many people can be required in the functioning of the organization. Second, cope up with changes in market conditions, technology, government regulations. So now, they also have to anticipate whether the market conditions are going to change, whether the technology is going to change or the government regulations are going to change or not. See, these things cannot be in absolute terms, they cannot be forecasted or anticipated what is going to be the government policy, change in the government policy. So these things cannot be absolutely forecasted or anticipated, but through a lot of data and through analysis of that data, you can figure out through patterns and trends whether there will be a change, and you should be prepared for that change. So when you are preparing for that change, so suppose by forecasting or by anticipating, the HR manager finds out that there is going to be some technological change in the future. So the manpower that the HR manager is going to hire will be according to that, or the training will start. So the training part also happens in the human resource planning. So there can be training for the people who are currently working, and by training them we can cope up with the technological change. So the training will be provided. Otherwise, whoever you're hiring, the new hirings that you're doing, when you're hiring those people, you will keep in mind that a technological change is coming, and the person, the new entrant of your organization should have those skills. Next is using existing manpower efficiently and productively. Human resource planning means that you are deciding how many number of people are required in the organization in future. But before that, it is the responsibility of the HR manager to make sure that whatever number of people are right now in the organization, they should be performing at their best. After their best performance, after their 100% capability is used, only after that we can start planning how much more manpower is required, how many more people are required in the organization. It cannot happen like this, that the existing people in your organization are performing at 50% of their capabilities, and you hire people from outside for doing the same job which the existing members can do. Because hiring more employees again is a huge cost to the company, and this whole process of hiring and recruitment and selection also is costly to the company. Okay, so the next thing is to promote employees in a systematic manner. So why we are doing human resource planning, one of the factor is also to promote the employees in a systematic manner. Now what does this systematic manner mean is that the existing employees of your organization, they should be moved in a systematic manner. They should be promoted in a systematic manner. So according to their capabilities, now you're keeping in mind, when you're doing the human resource planning for the future, you're keeping in mind if there is a vacant position at a higher level, whether your existing employees can fill it or not. So first you will see whether the existing employees are capable enough of filling that position or not. This is called the systematic procedure of promoting the employees. So after you have seen that, okay, these employees can be promoted and these employees can fill the vacant position in the organization, only then you're going to hire further employees in your organization. The next point is to ensure adequate supply of manpower as and when required. Adequate supply of manpower is the basic and the most important objective of human resource planning. If there are surplus employees in the organization, it has a huge cost to the organization, huge cost to the organization. They have to pay salaries to these employees, these surplus employees. Okay, so it is a huge cost, and when the cost increases, we all know the profit comes down. Next is if there is lack of employees in your organization, if the employees in your organization are scarce and the work is not done, or your existing employees are overburdened with the work, so they are not performing effectively and efficiently, that is also a problem. If there is lack of employees, that means either your existing employees are overburdened or your production function will not run smoothly, because the production function or your functioning of the organization will be disturbed because of scarcity of employees in the organization. There is no one to do the job. So that is also a problem. So that's why a perfect amount of employees according to the work that is there in the organization, according to that, a perfect amount, the adequate amount of employees should be employed in the organization, and that's why we are doing human resource planning. Next is to assess surplus and shortages in workforce. Again, the same thing. That means you have to see whether there are surpluses in the workforce or there are shortages in the workforce. Both the conditions, surplus and shortage, is very wrong in the organization. That should not happen, because both of these things are going to cost to the company. So these are the objectives of human resource planning. So the objectives are, first is forecast personnel needs and requirements. That means how many people are required for the organization. You have to anticipate that. Second, according to the changing environment, what kind of people you are going to require, you also have to keep that into concern while you are planning your human resource, while you are planning your desired manpower in the organization to achieve the objectives. Okay, next is manpower. The existing manpower that you have, they should be working at best of their capabilities. Only after counting that into consideration, after keeping that, accounting for that, you can go further and see how many more people are required. Next is to promote employees in a systematic manner. So whatever positions get vacant in your organization in the future, first you have to see whether the people in the organization are capable enough to fill them, and if yes, okay, and if not, then go further for human resource planning. Next is there shouldn't be any surpluses or any shortage of the employees. There should be an adequate amount of employees in your organization so that it does not have a huge cost to the organization. Both in surplus and shortage of the employees, the organization will suffer huge cost. So the next topic that we are going to discuss is components of human resource planning. So the components of human resource planning are all the factors that are included in HRP. First one is workload analysis. So workload analysis is determining the load of work in the organization, determining how much work has to be done in the organization, and according to that breaking down the work into man hours, and then deciding how many people are required in the organization. So workload analysis is you're determining according to the load of the job, according to the hours required by the job, you are determining how much load is there, and then deciding how many people will be required to fill that load. That is workload analysis. The second one is workforce analysis. Now, it's not just about the hours of work that has to be put in for the objectives to be achieved. You also have to decide workforce analysis. That means you have to analyze the workforce, the skills, the capabilities of the workforce, the education, the experience of the workforce, and how they are going to do the job. How well will they perform the job. So workload analysis is the hours that are required to be given for a particular job. Second is workforce analysis. Workforce analysis is what kind of people are required, what skills are required in those people. That is workforce analysis. Next is absenteeism. Because you are hiring human beings, they will get sick, they will be absent, they will have a lot of other things to do, because of which they can take leaves and they can be absent. But their absenteeism should not impact the work in the organization, and that's why when we are doing human resource planning, we should also consider the absenteeism of the people and how because of this absenteeism the work is not stopped. Next is labor turnover. Labor turnover is when people in the organization leave. So again, if the people in the organization leave, you have to anticipate by the patterns how many people on average leave the organization. Okay, so now when people leave, these vacancies have to be filled. Sources by which these vacancies can be filled as soon as possible, and can you afford to have some extra employees so that if there's labor turnover in the organization, these people can take over for some time, and then if required you can hire new people in the organization. So that also has to be kept into consideration when you are doing human resource planning. Next is recruitment and selection. So how you are going to recruit, what sources are you going to have in your recruitment process, from where you are going to recruit the employees, everything should be planned in advance. That is why we are doing human resource planning. So even if you are recruiting, that means you have to have your sources ready from where you are going to recruit your employees. Next is induction and development. So how you're going to give them training, how you're going to give them induction. Induction is the introductory training when the employees join, when the new employees are there in the organization, when the new entrants are there, how you're going to train them, how you're going to introduce them to the organization, how you're going to make them comfortable in the organization, what kind of trainings further will be required by the people, how you're going to provide that training, what will be the sources of that training, will all be a part of human resource planning.